So Leigh Ann, thank you so much for joining us on our second latest, I don't even know what number edition this is, of Educators Unleashed. Leigh Ann was I was incredibly grateful that she was able to come on today and talk to her a little bit about her journey, her story from being an educator into real estate. So Leigh Ann, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a joy to share it. And I love
Oh,
to share journey, especially when it can mean something to somebody else.
absolutely. And that's what this entire series is about. So Leigh Ann, if you just want to share kind of, when you're an educator, how long you've been in real estate, and just kind of give us a little bit of a quick bio.
Sure. Well, I've been in real estate about 12 years now. So, and prior to that, I taught business and IT at the high school level for 8 years before I got roped into real estate. And I loved it. I mean, I love what I do now, and I love teaching too. So just can be very similar in some ways and very different in other ways.
I know, absolutely. So tell me, what was that? Where did that go from? Okay, so I'm teaching. I can feel your enthusiasm still, even 12 years ago when you were in the classroom, and just I don't think it ever leaves us, right?
No, it
part of
doesn't,
us.
and no matter what people, always used to say about kids or how bad they can be, or, of course, administration and all that plays a role in it. But, really, I mean, just, you did. If you had a passion for doing it, it was there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what was that turning point for you, or how did you even think that, okay, number one, because maybe it's time to be out of the classroom, and number two, let's see why was it real estate for you once you decided to come out of the classroom?
Sure. Well, really, when I came out of the classroom, quite honestly, for me, it was a leave of absence. I had had my son, and
Mhm.
so I was taking a leave of absence right after I had my son, and I did not know the plan. Really, if I go back in hindsight, the plan was probably just to take a leave of absence from teaching.
Sure.
Um, However, about 6 months after I had my son, I had a friend whose husband owned a real estate brokerage, and they needed some help in their office. And I had let my friend know, I will only help you a certain amount of hours. I will train you on how to do it. It was really an accounting job in the real estate office, and that was my background. So I told her, I will be glad to come teach you how to do the job part time, because took a leave of absence to stay home with my child. So I did that. And while I was there, they roped me right on into real estate investing.
That's
But
what
I
we're
will
good
tell you,
salespeople.
well, I will tell you, I have to share this part of the story because it was from the generosity and the heart of the person that I worked with at that time. He didn't need my measly amount of money, or my nominal amount of money, that got me really involved. And he started teaching me how to take risk properly, and how that money matters, but it doesn't need to be the central part of your life either.
Mhm.
So there were so many great lessons in his generosity that really got my career in real estate started.
Okay. So someone's watching this, Leigh Ann, and they're just like, so what I'm finding with these interviews is that we've all left the classroom for different reasons in different ways. We were introduced to real estate for different reasons and for different ways, right? So what would you say to somebody who's watching this, that maybe not even in the classroom, but they're in a job, but they're just like, okay, there's something else. I'm ready to take it to the next level. Any kind of advice, if you will, or just something to be thinking about if they're just kind of noodling on this idea?
Well, I would think, there is a whole nother lifestyle out there than what people think as a normal job. There's freedom. There is, being your own boss, which you are when you go into real estate, whether you own a brokerage or you're just, an agent with a brokerage. It is your time schedule. It is what you make of it. There are going to be others that will walk alongside of you. And just like anything else, I would encourage people to have those people, those great mentors who are going to do that. But it gives you a whole nother freedom that I never thought about. Financially, it gave me a lot of freedom, and then freedom for my time as well, and not just time just to have with my family, but time for flexibility purposes.
Um,
Which can go both ends, as you know, in real estate, because people say, well, you can be flexible. Yes, you can be flexible, but you also have, if you're successful in it, you also have very demanding clients at the same time. So, you have to realize that and structure that well.
I think we have to look at it, flexibility in a different kind of way, right? So I was
Yes,
talking to somebody else, and she's the flexibility in that if her daughter has a show at school, she doesn't have to tell anybody that she's not going to be at
that's
work.
correct.
So
Yep.
that's a beautiful sense of
Yeah.
flexibility. However, you could be on the phone at 9 o'clock at night, you know, talking about a transaction. So that's so
Right.
just kind of looking
And
at flexibility
you're not
differently.
answering to a boss necessarily.
Mhm.
You're answering to you. And for people like me, I mean, I'm my own worst boss probably.
Most of us are, Leigh Ann.
And so that's if you've kind of got that intrinsic motivation in you, sometimes you just like with everything else, you have to realize that and put a balance to it, but it also can work for you.
Absolutely. Ugh, I love all that you're saying. So I hear all of the time. I was told to me when I decided to leave the classroom and to get into real estate that educators make the best realtors, right? And so I would love to know, what skills did you use to transfer from being an educator into actually doing real estate? So what were those skills that really helped you?
I think one of the skills that I can really say, and that I tell my clients a lot first, I would say is, you know, I'm going to hold your hand. And some people are going to need a lot more hand holding than other people. But number one, people have got to be able to trust you. And in education, I think that's the same way. You develop the relationship, you develop the trust, and then they know I've got you. Leigh Ann's going to tell me every part of the process, whether it's a first time home buyer or somebody who's been repeat. They know she's got my back. It's not a problem. So I think those, I'm sorry, I think we cut out for a second. I think those skills that are just very, you also identify who your client is, just like you do in the classroom. You're identifying who your audience is and who your students are. Not every student is going to learn the same way. Not every client you're going to have to handle the same way. And I think taking those skills and knowing who you're dealing with and how do I teach this person? How do I educate this person? How do I assist this person that it is going to be the best possible way in this transaction and to build this relationship? And not just that it's going to end at the transaction, because I tell my clients all the time. I mean, I just closed on a house last week and I said, okay, if you need your hair person, you're this person, you're that person, they were moving to the area. I said, call me. And she already has, so you're building that relationship. It's much more than just, she sold me a house. And then it comes back to trust. I know that person. So, some of those, and then just being able to, I think, educate in the way that you are transferring that knowledge so that they understand. Are you working with somebody who needs to come down and sit with you face to face? Or are you working with somebody who just, no, I want you to send it to me and e-sign it, but I know you're getting exactly what you need depending on who the client is.
Great answer. And that's kind of what I've heard, but just that it's that relationship building that we were programmed to do. And then it became part of us, who we were in the classroom. And so we can't help ourselves outside of the
Yes.
classroom, but
No.
to build that relationship and to learn how they need to be taught, right? It's one thing they tell you that if you learn it, that's one thing, but if you learn it and can teach it, then you really know what the information is. And so I think that's definitely a plus for someone who's been in the education sector before they get into real estate.
Yeah. And, one of the things, as our families, hear our lives in real estate, a lot of times, my husband says to me all the time, he says, honey, he says, there would never be a client who could say that you did not explain something to them. Because he hears me go through it and go through the warnings, the pluses, the pros, the cons, and everything. Just sit there, because there's so many things that we can't anticipate in real estate, that all the ones that we can, I want to make sure I have down.
100%. And Leigh Ann, just to wrap it up, do you have, I talk to a lot of people are trying to get into real estate who maybe are looking to grow the real estate business. If they already are in real estate, they just can't get past selling 6, 7, 8 homes a year. And just that fear factor, right, of doing something new, trying something. And so do you have, I don't know if you can remember, but just, have you ever, I guess, regretted leaving the classroom? And for somebody who's feeling they are going to regret, do you have any kind of anything that you can share with them just to kind of wrap up our little interview here?
No, I don't have any regrets leaving the classroom. Like I said, I mean, I was passionate to teach. If you asked me to teach a class at night or during the day today, would I still say yes? Possibly so. I'm not saying I would leave real estate. No, that's not what I'm saying. However, of course, we can have multiple passions. Like I said, it does give you that freedom. It's going to be uncomfortable, and anything that you do worth doing is going to be uncomfortable. And as I continue this 12 years later, I still want to be uncomfortable. There's going to be times that are great, or you feel like you're rolling it in, and there's going to be times where you're going, oh my gosh, where did my business go? But consistency is a key, and growing and continuing to learn is a key, and being surrounded by wonderful people who are growing you and nurturing you and making you come out of your comfort zone.
Ugh, Leigh Ann, spoken like a true teacher. That's just awesome. So a very shameless plug though, for anybody who's watching this, because we're in different markets. What market are you in, and where do you sell homes in case somebody doesn't want to be a realtor, but they need to have a house to sell or to buy?
Absolutely. So I'm in the Hampton Roads market. So anywhere Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Newport News, anywhere in the Hampton Roads market. So the southern tip of Virginia, basically.
Well, you guys, I met Leigh Ann through social media, right? That's how we
Yep.
met, and talking and discussing about other things. And then it was ding, ding, ding. She was also an educator, and that's kind of what connected us together through social media. So she is your girl if you're in those areas. Leigh Ann, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
for your
Mackenzie.
words of wisdom, and we will talk soon.
Okay. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.